Discovering the Avant-Garde, Experimental Poetry Writing Prompts. Hello, fellow wordsmiths. Today, we're diving into a unique and fascinating corner of creative writing, experimental poetry. This type of poetry pushes boundaries and invites us to rethink the ways we approach language, rhythm, and meaning. In this video, we're going to explore some writing prompts that will help you start creating your own experimental poetry. Before we dive into the prompts, let's briefly discuss what experimental poetry is. Experimental poetry often challenges traditional concepts of poetry such as rhythm, rhyme, and metaphor. It invites writers to use language in new and unconventional ways, creating original poetic forms. You may encounter unusual punctuation, spacing, or even visual elements in experimental poetry. The key here is innovation and creativity. Starting with experimental poetry can be a bit intimidating, so let's warm up with a couple of simpler prompts. Remember, the goal is to experiment and play around with language. Prompt 1. Write a poem where the punctuation marks are just as important as the words. Let them take on new meanings or roles. Prompt 2. Write a poem without using any adjectives. Focus instead on nouns, verbs, and other parts of speech. Now, let's move on to more complex prompts that will further push your creative boundaries. Prompt 3. Create a visual poem. This could mean arranging your words and lines to form a particular shape on the page, or incorporating visual elements into your poem. Prompt 4. Write a poem where you invent your own words. What new meanings and sounds can you create? Prompt 5. Write a poem that breaks language rules intentionally. This could be grammatical rules, sentence structure, or even spelling. For those ready for a real challenge, these advanced prompts will further stretch your creativity. Prompt 6. Write a poem that uses only one vowel. Prompt 7. Write a poem that can be read backwards and forwards. Prompt 8. Write a poem without any spaces between words, using punctuation or line breaks to distinguish individual words. Remember, the beauty of experimental poetry lies in its freedom and boundlessness. So don't be afraid to push your limits and try something completely different. We hope these prompts have inspired you to play with language and form in new, exciting ways. Keep experimenting, keep writing, and most importantly, keep enjoying the process. Happy writing, everyone!